The part that we found the most difficult was managing going from if statement to if statement to if statement. We found that it was difficult to keep track of our code, and that made us have to be more aware of our indentations and spend more time debugging due to mistakes in our code. We found that we were able to rely upon our code that we used in H1, and I1 to be able to guide us in combining it into one large script. This is Tyler and Anthony with Project 3, Block Counting and Sorting. So first, we can walk through the flowchart. So here at the beginning of our program, we're gonna clear variables, connect the Arduino and the servo, and initialize our variables. We have that all here in our script. And then this is where the while loop starts. And we're gonna read the photoresistor and get the voltage number from the infrared sensor. And then if the voltage is less than our threshold, then that means that there is an object in the path. And so here we have our first question statement. And if there's an object in the path, then we set the block state equal to 1 to say that yes, there is a block there. And if it just entered the sensor, then we're gonna start the timer. And we can see that reflected in our code right here in this first if statement. And if the block state equals 1, the previous equals 0, then we start the timer. If there is no object in the path, then the block state equals 0. And if the object just left, then we're gonna stop the timer. And you can see that we stop the timer with talk right there. And then we're gonna go ahead and calculate the size of the block. And that we do with our block length function there, which multiplies the time times our conversion factor to give us the length. And then we need to say if the block is large or not. And if it is large, then we need to move the deflector to the large position, i.e. Turn the servo on to the correct position to shove the block to the other side. And so here we have it here. If the block length is greater than 1.5 in this case, then we are going to write the position of the deflector servo to the large position. And if it is not large, then we're gonna put it in the small position, which we have in this else statement. And in addition to moving the deflector, we need to then count the number of large blocks and small blocks that we've logged thus far. So we have those individually in this if statement and in the else statement for large and small blocks. And then we need to display the amount of large and small blocks. And we have that here in this message. And because we saved the large count and the small count, we can simply display this message in the command window. And then we need to know if either count is equal to our max, which is 5. So we have this if statement if the large count is greater than or equal to our max block count, or if the small count is greater than or equal to our max block count, then we're gonna end up finishing the program, but we want to make sure that all of the blocks make it into their respective places. So we want to pause and keep the program running so that the conveyor dumps all the blocks off the end. And we can see that in this part of our flowchart. And then at the very end, we're going to set the position of the deflector servo back to its original position, turn off the conveyor, and then end the program with the break command. Now we can demonstrate our code in action. So if I'm going to run our script, our conveyor will turn on, and I can then place a large block on the conveyor, and it'll be detected and pushed to the far side, and it'll be counted as one large block in the command window. Then if I place a small block on, it'll be allowed to go to the small half, and it'll log one small block in the command window. If I continue to place blocks on the conveyor, they will go to their respective locations, and the count will stay consistent with what is occurring. You can see we have 3 in there, and 3 to 3 is our count. Now, if I place up to 5 small blocks, our script will stop, but it will allow this final block to cross into its respective basket, and the code will shut down, our machine will stop, and you can see that it is because there are 4 large and 5 small, and so the program will end. And you can see that all 5 small blocks and the 4 large blocks are in the correct baskets.